Do you remember Fable? That RPG, released in 2004, promising to leave a mark on our lives. Now, imagine experiencing it today, but in virtual reality, feeling that hit of a fireball in your hands, feeling every sword amidst the clash of battle, exploring Albion as if you were there. I mean, as if you were really there. A beautiful dream, but a dream impossible. Some games define a generation. Worlds you enter not just with your eyes, but with your heart. Fable is one of them. In 2004, the first installment arrived exclusively on Xbox.
They burned my village to the ground, but I escaped. I survived. My family's gone, and there's no one left to guide me. Will I choose the road that leads to virtue and honor, or take the path of vengeance and destruction?
Fable. Destiny is what you make of it.
A year later was released as Fable The Last Chapter. To preserve the little bit vision you have in each eyes, this video will be illustrated using excerpt from the HD PC remake Fable Anniversary, elegantly named as it marks the 10th anniversary of the original. Peter Moulineux, already known for his bold promise, announced a revolutionary RPG. Every choice would transform your hero, influence the world, and shape your legend. The game ran on a proprietary engine created specifically by Lionhead. A technical detail that seemed minor at the time, but would prove decisive for his future. The story, simple on the surface, tells of a child seeking for revenge after the village is destroyed. But the true strength of the game lies elsewhere, in the fables themselves. These side quests that are little life lessons, funny, absurd, sometimes cruel, a constant moral tales where the player discovers their own nature. At the time when video games often told prepackaged stories, Fable made the player the actor. It was a shock. Your decisions shaped your appearance, reputation, and the love and fear that people felt for you. For the first time, an RPG dared to hold up a mirror. In Fable 1, the game relied above all on unique artistic direction, instantly recognizable, a style almost caricatured, as it ripped from a Shrek-like fairy tale, big head, large feet, cartoonish silhouette in a whimsical world tinged with dark English humor. In Fable 1, everything was saturated with bright, vivid color like an overexposed picture book. But across this series, this aesthetic evolved. Albion bright, naive world shift toward a darker, grittier industrial revolution. In Fable 3, characters had grayish, almost pale faces, and the entire world appeared desaturated, dirtied, marked by factory smoke and misery. This graphic transformation, as you can see, this graphic transformation alone tells the story of Fable, a passage from childhood fairies tale to disenchanted vision where magic collides with hardness of reality. Of course, if you approach the game with a 2004 mindset, it can feel limited. Some new player find the zones too small, the economy unstable, choices ultimately superficial, but these critics ignore context.
Hello and welcome to Lionhead Studios here in rainy Guildford in the UK. Today we're going to give you a little behind the scenes tour of what it's like on a day-to-day life at Lionhead, and maybe even show you some of our secrets.
In 2004, Lionhead was a small team with financial trouble after their previous game, Black and White 2. They didn't have the means to compete with industry giants. Yet, they laid the foundation seen later in Mass Effect, Dragon Age, Jade Empire, or Detroit Become Human. Even its flaws became iconic. The exploitable economy that let you become rich and in a flash, caricatured NPC, shallow customization. All of this is added to the charm. After all, Fable wasn't a realistic simulation. It was a legend told to you with dark humor, cynism, and you as the hero. Then came Fable 2. Oh, that's the 3. Never mind. Yeah, that one. So it came in 2008, a more ambitious, larger and bolder game. Here appears the idea of the animal companion. A loyal dog reacts to your actions, finding treasure, accompanying you to the end. The world is darker, richer, quests are more varied. There's a punch of maturity, but still mixed with humor and melancholy. Sure, movement controls could feel slippery, but the economy evolved. This time, you could become a property owner, buy shops, literally live off your investments. Albion became a society, a dynamic society where economics and moral choices shapes the kingdom alike. Yet, some players exploited the system to become virtual billionaires in hours. Not a flaw, almost a signature. Fable is breakable, but still make us smile. Then became 2010. And now it's the turn... Oh! And now it's the turn of the third. Fable 3, ambition grew. You were no longer just a hero, but a future monarch. For the first time, the saga introduced a true political revolution. Starting as a simple adventurer, you became a revolutionary leader, the king or queen of Albion. Your campaign promises become governance choices, determining your people's prosperity or ruin. Personally, what fascinates me about Fable is its ability to evolve and take risks, which is each installment. Nothing stayed fixed, everything was reinvented. Take experience point. In Fable 1, you collect green orbs to allocate into categories to unlock new spells. Later, skills used in combat generated orbs directly. Physical attacks gave red orbs, spells blue, arrow yellow. It encouraged very play styles, a more organic, intuitive system. Graphic improved with each entry, but there remained a balance between serious RPG mechanics and the developer's playful chaos. A great example is the obsession with chickens, essentially in the second games, becoming marketing fodder. Nonsense, but charming nonsense. Changes divided fans. Removal of a level system, simplification of mechanics, but there was a reason. Fable 2 had to work for local multiplayer, and Fable 3 for Xbox Live. This required to simplified balancing, fewer items, and cooperative play where friends could join anytime.
Hello and welcome to Fable's latest video diary, where me and Ted are going to show you Xbox Live Co-op on Fable 3. Different to Fable 2, you will have your own hero, your own dog, separate cameras, and be able to explore the world.
So basically what I can do is we've still brought back the orb system from Fable 2, and I can run over to Lewis's orb and I can interact with him. So we're in separate worlds, as you can see, separate screens. We're free to move the camera around as we like, and I'll just interact with him to join his game.
Ted is now in my world, and unlike Fable 2, you can see that he is his own hero from his own single-player game. We have independent cameras, we can move independently of each other around this zone.
We felt that we wanted to carry across the interactions from the single-player game into the multiplayer. So you can do this with anyone in the world on Xbox Live, you can do it with a loved one, or you can just do it with a close friend. So
let's have a secret handshake.
A secret handshake, which is now no longer secret.
Get down on one knee. Ted,
Oh wow.
will you marry me?
I'd love to. Please.
Excellent.
I've waited 3 years for you to say that, Lewis. So, now I can see Lewis's statistics screen, I can see if he's widowed, I can see if he's got any children, but fortunately he's very rich. That's a real incentive for me to marry him.
What kind of wedding ceremony would you like?
Well, I'm not a cheap guy, so yeah, the 5,000 gold late wedding sounds good. I mean, I've seen your gold, so come on, we know you're a millionaire.
I'll spoil you this one.
I feel like the luckiest girl in the world.
This truly is the greatest day of my life.
The vision was shared experience, sometimes frustrating, but ultimately effective. And this controller would remind some of you good stuff. Yeah, it's an ASMR controller. Damn, I miss that Xbox button. It was a way simpler menu at the time. Yes, I love the first game's mechanics, but the simplified combo in Fable 3 made gameplay smoother and more accessible. The series also targeted children with fairy tales and tones but smart humor for older players. Humor was a major strength, NPC aware of their existence in the game without breaking fourth walls awkwardly. Example: a father asks you to change hair colors, clothes, bear to woo his daughter. After all trials, it was a joke. Even the interface was a comedic tool, a wink from the game itself. Don't forget the French voice acting. At the time, VO was recording line by line, without context. Yet, the actor delivered incredible performance, adding intensity and warmth absent in the English version. Sylvain Lemarié and Barbara Tissier were unforgettable. In rare cases, the French VO surpasses the original. Be judged by yourself.
Where's that filthy layabout husband of mine? With some woman, I don't doubt. I run his house, bring up his children, and what do I get in return? Nothing. If you find him, let me know, won't you?
Mais où est donc mon bon à rien de mari? Avec une femme, je parie. Je gère la maisonnée, j'élève ses enfants, et qu'est-ce que j'ai en retour? Rien. Dis, si tu le trouves, préviens-moi.
Oi! You're new here, aren't you? We have some rules round here that you need to know about. Bowerstone is a peaceful town. I'll have to confiscate your weapons for now. You'll be fine without your weapons. It's safe here. You can have your weapons back when you leave. There are shops, inns, lots of different people, games, all kinds of things. Why not pay the tavern a visit first? It's the building in front of you, just up the road from here. Oh, and keep an eye open for Lady Grey. Treat her with respect. She is the mayor after all. Have a look around and enjoy your stay in Bowerstone.
Vous êtes nouveau ici, hein?
Oui.
Je vais vous expliquer les quelques règles que nous avons. Bowerstone est une ville paisible. Je vais devoir confisquer vos armes pour l'instant. Donnez-les-moi.
Est-ce que je peux quand même taper les gens?
Il y a des échoppes, des tavernes, des gens, des jeux, plein de choses. Pourquoi ne pas faire un tour à la taverne? C'est le bâtiment qui se trouve devant vous, en haut de la route. Ah, et ouvrez l'œil. Lady Grey se trouve ici. Et faites preuve de respect. C'est la maîtresse ici.
Bah écoute, on ira voir Lady Grey.
Profitez bien de votre séjour à Bowerstone.
Then there's the Demon Doors, a Fable hallmarks. They required solving puzzles to access coveted treasure. While padding game lengths, they were clever. Each door had personality and charm, making the experience memorable. Passing a door was both a brain test and just a good laugh. Another subtle but impactful feature, NPC given nicknames, becoming your hero title. Simple labels reflecting choices and Albin's perception. Start as a novice, in villagers call you Chicken Chaser.
Chicken Chaser? Do you chase chickens?
There's something about the name Chicken Chaser. Makes you sound like a cock.
Oh, look over there, it's Chicken Chaser.
Well then, Chicken Chaser.
You'll be Chicken Chaser then.
Chickens?
Chicken Chaser? What a stupid name.
Chicken Chaser.
Chicken Chaser.
Do you chase chickens?
Chicken Chaser.
Chicken Chaser?
Instant shame, indignation, maybe frustration. Achievements earn grand titles, fueling the desire to go further. A simple system, yet incredibly effective. The game seemed to talk you personally. Titles depend on the reputation. Compelling quest with flair, accepting contracts without being touched, or accomplishing tasks behind boosted prestige and unlock new nicknames. Public display of heroism, like displaying slain monster trophy, inspired NPC admiration. Conversely, silly act earned emulating nicknames like Fart Face. Reputation matter, even in absurd way, but we can't talk about Fable without mentioning its soundtracks, the beating hearts of the franchise. The original score is absolutely stunning, setting an atmosphere that no other RPG has ever quite matched. Every melody feels alive, perfectly accompanying the player's journey through Albion, shifting effortlessly between wonder, melancholy, and adventure. The main theme, composed by no one other than Danny Elfman, one of the greatest composers of our time, is unforgettable.
Musically, Fable has to have so many different elements because the game is not just one style. It has a fairy tale element, it has a sinister element, there's happiness, there's sadness, there's evil and darkness. We decided quite early on to make sure that all those elements were in the music, so we couldn't just have one style. But what we did decide to do was to have a theme running through, a thread of a theme running through all the music, so there was still some sort of continuity through the whole thing.
I say, quite nice. That paves the path.
Danny Elfman was involved quite early on. Once he'd seen the game, he agreed that it was a great project to work on. And in his previous styles from previous films fitted perfectly with what we wanted. So we got Danny to write us a 3-minute theme, which we're going to use over the intro.
Yeah, let's do one more from the top.
Not longer. I need monetization on this video. Really bad. It instantaneously captures the essence of Fable. Whimsical yet epic, mysterious yet hopeful. These musical themes don't just support the story, they define it, giving the world of Albion a soul that still resonates decades later. And after that, Fable, the journey. Yeah, we don't talk about it.
Dimitri, show us the demo.
To the hillside. The rocks are treacherous. We have evaded our pursuer's grasp, but we must remain vigilant.
Fable's Journey 2012 was the last effort with Kinect on Unreal Engine 3. A strange choice, far from fan expectations. In 2016, Microsoft closed Lionshead Studios. Fable ended, leaving an unfinished legend. So, dreaming about Fable VR, one might ask, why didn't the studio do it? Logically, cult universe, active fanbase, VR ideal, but no. Microsoft never considered it, and Lionshead no longer exists. Officially, Fable in VR would never arrive. Fans turned to Fable Anniversary 2014, remastered with modern graphics and interface, promising, but it ran on Unreal Engine 3. Incompatible with current VR tools required Unreal Engine 4. And the original Fable? Its proprietary engine is a technological dead end. No adaptation possible. The demon door is permanently locked. One fan tried a recreated Albion in VR chat. I walked through that virtual world hoping to feel the magic. And I understood. It was empty, cold, lifeless. Nothing like Fable. At that moment, I realized that Fable VR would never exist. But what if I told you that I was the first in the world to do it? Yes! Yes, I entered Fable in virtual reality. Not an official port. Not perfect, but a suspended moment reknitting something inside me. I felt completely out of time. The mystical music, the echo of sacred chord resonating inside this kind of holy chapel bathed in stained glasses light. It was breathtaking. My eyes couldn't leave the window or the way the color danced across the wall. It was vibrant, yet the sense of space, amplified by the echo, gave me the uncanny feeling of standing in a sacred place. And once I stepped outside into Bowerstone, the feeling was indescribable. Every familiar faces, every street I recognized made me smile instinctively, as if it were real memories my brain was retrieving. Memories it could now rebuild perfectly, done thanks to the true sense of scale VR provided. What amazed me the most were the ray of sunlight. My brain actually sent the signal of the warmth, and for a moment I genuinely felt like I was waking up to a golden morning breeze. Every tiny details caught my attention. The textures, the reflections, the music, and together they created this sensation of walking through an enchanted forest. I felt calm, fulfilled, and strangely at peace. Every time I passed under an archway or bridge, the shadow and dim light made me instinctively lower my head, afraid I might bump into the ceiling. At first, the keyboard broke my immersion a bit, but I switched to a controller. I could finally let go and enjoy the gameplay. I started imagining how incredible it would be to have a floating interface appear in front of me only when I needed to check a quest or open in the inventory, then disappears instantly, so I could stay fully immersed in the world. Even when the menu popped suddenly, being able to still see the environment around me made me the illusion stronger. My brain simply accepted it as normal. After all, it is a magical world. And sure, the game is beautiful, but what truly deepened the immersion wasn't the graphics themselves. Even when I had to lower the settings so my poor potato computer, wouldn't melt. But what matters was how vividly I could imagine the textures, the rough wood beams, the woven tunics of villagers, the hanging laundry throwing in the wind. Observing these details, even subconsciously, made Albion feel alive. It was a fairy tale, strolled through the most beautiful version of Albion I've ever experienced. And then I understood why so many players lost their VR spark, why your headset collects dust. Our dreams were too big for the tech. VR often promised worlds it couldn't deliver, and laziness made firing up consoles easier than setting up a VR spaces. I too felt fatigue, doubt, disillusionment. Then Fable reminded me why I dreamed. I had reached the point of giving up. I lost the passion, the desire to create, and the fire inside. Yet, what I experienced in Fable VR was different. Even imperfect, limited, it was unique. It gave back what I thought was lost. The desire to dream, and most importantly, to create. Playing Fable VR, I imagined the wildest ideas without technical limits. Casting spells by hand like Walls of Wizards, grabbing balls in my back like in Half-Life Alyx, tossing a Balverine to the ground with bone laps, physics, triggered quests. By speaking to an NPC, I dreamed of an Albion where anyone could craft their own legend. I wanted to tell you this story not just to share my love for Fable, but to pass on the spark I found. Because no matter the game, no matter the imperfections, what matters is relighting wonder. VR isn't dead. It waits for us to dare to dream again. And if this video makes you want to pick up your headset, revisit a game you left aside, or create your own adventure, maybe you'll find that little flame. That flame I call virtual nostalgia.